Be patient. God is never late is a message that speaks directly to the human heart, especially in moments of waiting, uncertainty, and doubt. The verse from Habakkuk 2:3 reminds us, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." These words carry a powerful truth that transcends time and circumstance. They call us to trust in divine timing, to remain steadfast in hope, and to understand that delay is not denial. Patience is one of the most challenging virtues to practice. We live in a world that thrives on speed, instant results, and immediate gratification. We want answers now, solutions now, and success now. Waiting often feels uncomfortable, even unbearable. It tests our faith, stretches our endurance, and sometimes makes us question whether our prayers are being heard at all. But this verse gently reminds us that God operates on a different timeline, one that is perfect, intentional, and never late. When we think about waiting, it is easy to associate it with inactivity or stagnation, but waiting in a spiritual sense is not passive, it is active trust. It is choosing to believe even when we cannot see. It is holding on to hope even when circumstances seem to contradict it. It is continuing to move forward in faith even when the destination is not yet visible. The phrase "for the vision is yet for an appointed time" tells us that everything in life has a divine schedule. Nothing happens randomly or without purpose. There is a time set for every promise, every breakthrough, and every answer. This can be difficult to accept when we feel ready for something now. We may feel prepared, qualified, and eager, yet God sees beyond our current moment. He sees the bigger picture, the preparation we still need, the obstacles that must be removed, and the alignment of circumstances that must occur. Sometimes the delay we experience is actually a form of protection. What we are asking for may not be ready for us, or we may not be ready for it. If we received everything immediately, we might not have the strength, wisdom, or maturity to handle it. Waiting becomes a process of growth. It shapes our character, deepens our faith, and teaches us resilience. Though it tarry, wait for it is a powerful instruction. It acknowledges that there will be moments when things seem delayed, when answers seem distant, and when hope feels fragile. Yet it calls us to wait anyway. This kind of waiting requires courage. It requires us to silence the voices of doubt and fear. It requires us to trust that what has been promised will come to pass. Faith is often tested in the waiting period. It is easy to believe when things are happening quickly and smoothly, but true faith is revealed when we continue to believe even when nothing seems to be changing. It is in those quiet, uncertain moments that our trust in God is strengthened. We learn to rely not on what we see, but on what we know to be true. "Because it will surely come" is a declaration of certainty. There is no doubt, no hesitation, no possibility of failure. What God has promised will come to pass. This assurance gives us hope. It reminds us that our waiting is not in vain. Every moment of patience, every prayer, and every act of faith is leading us closer to fulfillment. "God is never late" is a statement that challenges our perception of time. From our perspective, delays can feel like lateness, but from God's perspective, everything is perfectly timed. What we see as delay is often divine alignment. There are countless unseen factors at work: people, opportunities, circumstances, all being arranged in a way that only God can orchestrate. Consider the times in your life when something did not happen when you wanted it to, but later you realized that the timing was actually perfect. Perhaps you were disappointed at first, confused, or even hurt, but in hindsight, you saw how everything fell into place in a way that was better than you had imagined. This is the essence of trusting God's timing. Patience does not mean that we stop dreaming or stop working toward our goals. It means that we pursue them with trust, knowing that the outcome is in God's hands. It means that we remain faithful in the process even when progress seems slow. It means that we do not give up simply because things are taking longer than expected. In the waiting season, it is important to focus on growth rather than delay. Ask yourself, what can I learn during this time? How can I become stronger, wiser, and more prepared? Waiting is not wasted time. It is an opportunity for transformation. It is a time to build character, deepen faith, and develop perseverance. There will be moments when waiting feels overwhelming. When days turn into months, and months into years, it is natural to feel discouraged. In those moments, it is important to remember that God sees your struggle. He understands your pain. He knows your desires. And He is working behind the scenes, even when you cannot see it. Trusting in God's timing requires surrender. It requires us to let go of our need for control and to place our trust in something greater than ourselves. This is not always easy. We like to plan, to predict, and to control outcomes. But true peace comes when we release those expectations and trust that God's plan is better than our own. Patience also teaches us gratitude. When we finally receive what we have been waiting for, we appreciate it more deeply. We understand its value. We recognize the journey it took to get there. Waiting enhances our sense of appreciation and helps us see blessings with greater clarity. Another important aspect of patience is consistency. While we wait, we must continue to do what is right. We must continue to work, to pray, to hope, and to believe. Consistency builds discipline and strengthens our faith. It shows that we are committed regardless of the outcome. It is also important to guard our mindset during the waiting period. Negative thoughts can easily creep in: doubt, fear, frustration, and comparison. We may look at others who seem to be progressing faster and wonder why we are still waiting. But every journey is different. Every path is unique. Comparing ourselves to others only distracts us from our own purpose. Instead, we should focus on our own journey. Trust that your time will come. Trust that your story is unfolding exactly as it should. What is meant for you will not miss you, and what is not meant for you will not last. Patience is not about enduring suffering without hope. It is about enduring with faith. It is about believing that something good is on the way, even if you cannot see it yet. It is about holding on to the promise that it will surely come. When we truly understand that God is never late, it changes our perspective. We begin to see delays as preparation rather than punishment. We begin to see waiting as growth rather than stagnation. We begin to trust that every moment has a purpose. Life is full of seasons. There are seasons of growth, seasons of harvest, and seasons of waiting. Each season has its own purpose and significance. The waiting season is just as important as any other. It is a time of foundation building. It is a time of strengthening roots so that when the time comes, we are ready to flourish. In moments of doubt, remind yourself of past experiences where things worked out in ways you did not expect. Reflect on how challenges led to growth, how delays led to better opportunities, and how patience led to greater rewards. These reflections can strengthen your faith and give you the courage to keep waiting. Surround yourself with positivity and encouragement. Spend time with people who uplift you, who remind you of your worth, and who support your journey. Engage in activities that bring you peace and joy. Take care of your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Prayer and reflection can also provide comfort during the waiting period. They help us reconnect with our faith and remind us that we are not alone. They give us the strength to keep going and the assurance that everything is under control. It is also important to celebrate small victories along the way. Progress may not always be dramatic or immediate, but every step forward is meaningful. Recognize and appreciate these moments. They are signs that you are moving in the right direction. Patience is not about perfection. There will be moments when you feel frustrated, when you question everything, and when you feel like giving up. That is okay. What matters is that you keep going, that you continue to believe, that you do not lose sight of the promise. God is never late is a reminder that timing is not in our hands, but in God's, and that is something we can find comfort in, because God's timing is perfect, it is precise, it is intentional, and it is always for our good. As you move forward in life, carry this message with you. When things do not happen as quickly as you would like, remember that there is a reason. When doors do not open immediately, trust that the right door will open at the right time. When you feel like you are falling behind, remember that you are exactly where you need to be. Patience is not just about waiting. It is about how we wait. It is about maintaining a positive attitude, staying faithful, and trusting the process. It is about believing that something greater is ahead. The waiting will make sense. The delays will have purpose. The struggles will have meaning. And the fulfillment of the promise will be even more beautiful because of the journey it took to get there. So hold on. Stay patient. Keep believing. Keep trusting, because what is meant for you is already on its way. It may not come when you expect it, but it will come exactly when it is supposed to. And when it does, you will realize that God was never late, not even for a moment. Divine timing is something that often challenges human understanding. We live in a world that values speed, efficiency, and immediate results. So when things don't happen as quickly as we expect, it can feel like something is wrong. We begin to question, to worry, and sometimes even to lose hope. Yet the truth remains that everything in life unfolds according to an appointed time. What may feel like a delay to us is, in reality, part of a perfectly designed plan. There is a natural desire within us to control outcomes and timelines. We set goals, make plans, and expect certain results within specific periods. When those expectations are not met, frustration can set in. It is easy to assume that we are falling behind or missing opportunities. However, divine timing does not operate according to human schedules. It is not bound by our impatience or limited perspective. Instead, it is guided by a wisdom that sees far beyond what we can imagine. What we often interpret as delay is actually preparation. There are moments when we feel ready for something, a new opportunity, a breakthrough, or a long-awaited answer. But readiness is not always just about desire or effort. There are unseen factors at play. Growth may still be taking place within us. Lessons may still need to be learned. Circumstances may need to align in ways we cannot yet see. In these moments, waiting becomes necessary not as a form of denial, but as a process of refinement. Consider how nature operates. Seeds do not sprout the moment they are planted. They require time beneath the soil, unseen and unnoticed, before they begin to grow. During that hidden phase, something important is happening. Roots are forming, strength is developing, and the foundation is being established. If the process were rushed, the plant would not be able to sustain itself. In the same way, the delays we experience in life often serve to strengthen us, to deepen our resilience, and to prepare us for what lies ahead. Divine timing also ensures that when something does happen, it happens under the right conditions. Timing affects impact. The same opportunity given too early might be overwhelming, while the same opportunity given at the right moment can lead to success and fulfillment. What we receive is not just about the what, but also about the when. The right timing brings clarity, readiness, and the ability to fully embrace what is being given. It is important to recognize that our perspective is limited. We tend to focus on the present moment, on what we can see and feel right now. When things are not moving as quickly as we would like, it is easy to become discouraged. But divine timing takes into account the bigger picture. It considers not only our individual journey, but also how it connects with others, with future opportunities, and with outcomes that we cannot yet foresee. There are times when looking back helps us understand this truth more clearly. Situations that once felt like setbacks or disappointments often reveal themselves later as blessings in disguise. Opportunities that did not work out may have protected us from paths that were not right for us. Delays may have redirected us towards something better. These experiences remind us that timing plays a crucial role in shaping our lives. Trusting in divine timing requires patience, and patience is not always easy. It asks us to remain calm in uncertainty, to keep believing when results are not visible, and to continue moving forward without immediate reward. It is a quiet strength that develops over time. It teaches us to let go of the need for control and to place our trust in something greater than ourselves. This trust does not mean inaction. It does not mean giving up on goals or becoming passive. Instead, it means continuing to work, to grow, and to prepare while understanding that the final outcome is not solely in our hands. It means doing our part while allowing the right time to unfold naturally. There is a balance between effort and surrender, between striving and trusting. One of the greatest challenges during periods of waiting is comparison. It is easy to look at others and feel as though they are moving ahead while we remain in the same place. But every journey is unique. Each person has their own timeline, their own lessons, and their own purpose. Comparing timelines only creates unnecessary pressure and distracts from our own path. Divine timing is personal, and it unfolds differently for everyone. Another important aspect of trusting timing is maintaining hope. Waiting can sometimes feel like standing still, but in reality, progress is often happening beneath the surface. Just because something is not visible does not mean it is not in motion. Believing in this unseen progress helps sustain patience and keeps discouragement at bay. When the right moment finally arrives, it often becomes clear why the waiting was necessary. Things fall into place in ways that make sense, even if they did not before. There is a sense of alignment, of readiness, and of clarity that would not have been possible earlier. What once felt like delay is then understood as perfect timing. Divine timing teaches us that life is not a race. It is not about reaching milestones as quickly as possible, but about reaching them at the right time. It reminds us that there is purpose in every season, including the seasons of waiting. These moments are not empty. They are filled with growth, preparation, and quiet transformation. In learning to trust this process, we find a sense of peace. We begin to let go of anxiety about when things will happen and focus instead on how we can grow in the present moment. We become more patient, more resilient, and more grounded. We learn to appreciate the journey rather than rushing toward the destination. The idea that divine timing is perfect encourages us to shift our perspective. Instead of seeing delays as obstacles, we begin to see them as part of a greater plan. Instead of feeling frustrated by what has not yet happened, we learn to trust that it will happen at the right time. And in that trust, we find strength, hope, and the assurance that nothing meant for us will ever be truly late. Waiting is often misunderstood as a period of inactivity, a time where nothing meaningful is happening. It can feel slow, frustrating, and even discouraging, especially when there is a strong desire to move forward. However, waiting is not wasting. It is a season filled with purpose, a time of preparation where growth quietly takes place beneath the surface. What may appear to be stillness is often a period of deep transformation. In a world that celebrates constant movement and visible progress, waiting can feel uncomfortable. We are used to measuring success through immediate results, quick achievements, and rapid advancement. When those things are delayed, it can create a sense of being stuck or left behind. But growth does not always happen in visible ways. Some of the most important development occurs in moments that seem slow and uneventful. Waiting is a time where strength is built. Just as muscles grow through resistance, our inner strength develops through patience and endurance. When we are forced to wait, we learn how to remain steady even when things are uncertain. We learn how to handle delays without losing hope. This kind of strength cannot be gained through ease or instant success. It is formed through persistence, through holding on when it would be easier to give up. Faith also deepens during the waiting season. It is easy to believe when everything is going well and happening quickly, but true faith is revealed when there are no immediate signs of progress. It is the ability to trust that something is happening even when we cannot see it. Waiting challenges us to rely not on what is visible, but on what we believe to be true. It pushes us to trust the process even when the outcome is not yet clear. Character is another essential element shaped during times of waiting. In these moments, we are tested in ways that reveal who we truly are. We learn patience, humility, and perseverance. We learn how to manage disappointment and how to stay focused, despite distractions. These qualities are not developed overnight. They are built gradually, through experiences that require us to grow beyond our comfort zones. There is also a refining process that takes place during waiting. Certain attitudes, habits, or mindsets may need to change before we are ready for what lies ahead. Waiting gives us the opportunity to reflect, to improve, and to become better versions of ourselves. It allows us to let go of what is not beneficial and to develop qualities that will help us handle future responsibilities. Preparation often happens in ways that are not immediately obvious. While we may be focused on reaching a specific goal, there may be other aspects of our lives that need alignment first. Skills may need to be developed, relationships may need to be strengthened, and understanding may need to deepen. These elements come together during the waiting period, forming a strong foundation for what is to come. It is helpful to think of waiting as a training ground rather than a holding place. Just as an athlete trains before a competition, we are being prepared for future opportunities. Training requires discipline, consistency, and patience. It is not always exciting, and the results are not always immediate, but without that preparation, success would not be sustainable. The same principle applies to life. What we do during the waiting season determines how well we will handle what comes next. Another important aspect of waiting is learning to trust the process. There is a natural tendency to want control over timing and outcomes. We want to know when things will happen and how they will unfold. But waiting teaches us to release that need for control. It encourages us to focus on what we can do in the present moment rather than worrying about the future. This shift in mindset brings a sense of peace and allows us to grow without constant anxiety. Waiting also helps us develop appreciation. When something takes time, we value it more when it finally arrives. The journey adds meaning to the destination. The effort, the patience, and the growth all contribute to a deeper sense of gratitude. What might have been taken for granted, if received quickly, becomes something truly cherished. There are moments when waiting can feel overwhelming, especially when it lasts longer than expected. Doubt may begin to creep in, and it can be tempting to believe that nothing is happening. But it is important to remember that progress is not always visible. Just because we cannot see change does not mean it is not taking place. Much of the preparation happens internally, shaping our mindset, our perspective, and our readiness. Comparison can make waiting even more difficult. Seeing others achieve their goals or move forward can create a sense of impatience or inadequacy. But every journey is different. Each person has their own timeline and their own path of growth. What is meant for one person at a certain time may not be right for another. Focusing on others only distracts from our own preparation. During the waiting season, it is important to stay engaged and intentional. This is not a time to become passive or discouraged. It is a time to continue learning, improving, and working toward personal growth. Small steps taken consistently can lead to significant change over time. Even when the final outcome is not yet visible, progress is being made. Mindset plays a crucial role in how we experience waiting. Viewing it as a burden creates frustration, while seeing it as preparation brings purpose. When we understand that this season is shaping us for something greater, it becomes easier to remain patient. We begin to see value in the process rather than focusing only on the result. There is also an element of timing that connects to preparation. Being prepared at the right time ensures that we can fully step into opportunities when they arise. If something comes too early, we may not be ready to handle it. Waiting ensures that when the moment arrives, we are equipped with the strength, knowledge, and character needed to succeed. Waiting is not empty time. It is filled with growth, learning, and transformation. It is a season that prepares us for what lies ahead, even if we do not fully understand it in the moment. Every experience, every challenge, and every lesson contributes to shaping who we are becoming. When we embrace this perspective, waiting becomes less about frustration and more about purpose. It becomes an opportunity to grow rather than a period to endure. It reminds us that the journey is just as important as the destination, and that who we become along the way matters just as much as what we achieve. Understanding that waiting is preparation changes how we approach life. It encourages patience, builds resilience, and strengthens faith. It allows us to trust that even in stillness, something meaningful is happening. And when the time finally comes, we step forward not just ready, but transformed by the journey that prepared us for that moment. Delay can be one of the most difficult experiences to understand and accept. When something we hope for, pray for, or work toward does not happen within our expected time frame, it is natural to feel discouraged. We may begin to question whether it will ever happen at all. Doubt can quietly enter our minds, making us wonder if the opportunity has passed or if the promise was ever meant for us. Yet it is important to remember that delay does not mean denial. Just because something has not happened yet does not mean it will not happen. There is a difference between something being withheld and something being postponed. When something is denied, it is refused completely. But when something is delayed, it is simply being held back for a time. That distinction is important because it changes how we interpret our situation. Instead of seeing delay as rejection, we can begin to see it as part of a process, one that is still moving forward, even if we cannot yet see the results. Often we place timelines on our expectations. We decide when things should happen and how quickly they should unfold. When reality does not match those expectations, frustration grows. But our understanding of timing is limited. We see only the present moment, while a greater plan may be unfolding beyond our awareness. What feels like a long delay to us may actually be a necessary pause, allowing things to come together in the right way. There are many reasons why delays occur. Sometimes it is because we are still in a period of preparation. We may desire something deeply, but there may still be lessons to learn or growth that needs to take place before we are ready to receive it. This preparation is not always comfortable. It may involve challenges, setbacks, or moments of uncertainty, yet these experiences are shaping us, building the strength and wisdom needed for what lies ahead. At other times, the delay may be connected to circumstances beyond our control. Situations, people, or opportunities may need to align in a specific way. What we are waiting for might involve more than just our own readiness. It may require the right environment, the right connections, or the right moment. These elements cannot always be rushed. They come together in their own time, forming a complete picture that we could not have arranged on our own. Delay can also serve as protection. There are moments when receiving something too early could lead to disappointment or difficulty. What we think we are ready for might not be as beneficial as we imagine if it arrives at the wrong time. A delay can prevent us from stepping into situations that are not fully prepared to support us. It can guide us towards something better even if we do not realize it at first. One of the greatest challenges during a delay is maintaining belief. When time passes and nothing seems to change, it can feel as though nothing is happening, but progress is not always visible. Just as seeds grow beneath the soil before breaking through the surface, many things are developing in ways we cannot see. The absence of visible results does not mean the absence of movement. Patience becomes essential in these moments. It is the ability to remain steady and hopeful, even when there are no clear signs of progress. Patience does not mean ignoring feelings of frustration or disappointment. Those feelings are natural, but it does mean choosing not to let those feelings take control. It means continuing to believe even when it is difficult. Trust is closely connected to patience. Trust allows us to hold on to the belief that what is meant for us will come at the right time. It gives us the strength to keep moving forward without constant reassurance. Trust is not about having all the answers. It is about being confident that the answers will come when they are needed. It is also important to guard against comparison during periods of delay. Seeing others achieve what we are waiting for can make the delay feel even longer. It can create a sense of being left behind or overlooked, but every journey is different. What happens for one person at a certain time may not be right for another. Each path has its own pace and purpose. Comparing timelines only adds unnecessary pressure and distracts from our own growth. Delays can also deepen our appreciation for what is to come. When something takes time, it becomes more meaningful. The waiting, the effort, and the persistence all contribute to a greater sense of value. What might have been taken for granted if it arrived quickly becomes something truly cherished when it finally comes. There is also a lesson in endurance. Delays teach us how to keep going even when progress is slow. They build resilience, helping us develop the ability to face challenges without giving up. This endurance is valuable not only for the present moment, but for future experiences as well. It equips us with the strength to handle whatever comes next. Sometimes, looking back provides clarity. Situations that once felt like delays often reveal themselves later as necessary steps in a larger journey. What seemed like a setback may have led to a better opportunity. What felt like a missed chance may have redirected us towards something more suitable. These realizations help reinforce the idea that delay is not the end of the story. Maintaining hope during a delay requires a shift in perspective. Instead of focusing on what has not yet happened, it helps to focus on what is still possible. The future remains open, and the outcome is still unfolding. This mindset keeps us moving forward and prevents discouragement from taking root. It is also helpful to stay active and engaged during the waiting period. Continuing to grow, learn, and improve ensures that we are making progress even if the final goal has not yet been reached. This sense of movement can reduce feelings of stagnation and keep motivation alive. Delay does not erase possibility. It does not cancel potential or remove opportunity. It simply changes the timing. The path may take longer than expected, but that does not mean it will not lead to the desired destination. In many cases, the longer path provides a richer and more meaningful journey. Understanding that delay does not mean denial allows us to hold on to hope with greater confidence. It reminds us that the story is not finished, that there is still more to come. It encourages us to remain patient, to keep believing, and to trust that what is meant for us is still on its way. Delays are a part of life, but they do not define the outcome. They are moments within the journey, not the conclusion. What matters is how we respond to them, whether we allow them to weaken our belief or strengthen our resolve. When we choose to see delay as part of the process rather than the end of the promise, we open ourselves to a perspective filled with hope, patience, and quiet confidence that what is meant to happen will happen exactly when it is meant to. Faith is often spoken about in moments of victory, when prayers are answered and everything seems to fall into place. It is easy to say we believe when we can clearly see results, when doors are opening, and when progress is visible. But the true depth of faith is not revealed in those moments of certainty. It is revealed in the waiting season, in the quiet spaces where nothing seems to be changing, where answers are not yet visible, and where hope feels like it is being tested. The waiting season is where faith is proven. It is where belief moves beyond words and becomes a choice, something we hold on to even when circumstances challenge it. True faith is not dependent on what we can see. It is rooted in trust, in the assurance that something is happening even when there is no visible evidence. It is the ability to remain steady when everything around us feels uncertain. There is something deeply challenging about believing in what we cannot see. Human nature tends to rely on proof, on signs that confirm progress. We want reassurance that we are moving in the right direction. When that reassurance is missing, doubt can begin to grow. Questions start to form. Is anything really happening? Will things ever change? Is the wait worth it? These questions are natural, but they are also where faith is tested the most. Faith during the waiting season requires a shift in perspective. Instead of focusing on what is not happening, it calls us to focus on what we believe. It asks us to trust that there is a purpose behind the silence, that the absence of visible movement does not mean the absence of progress. Just because we cannot see change does not mean that change is not taking place. Often the most important work happens beneath the surface. Just like roots grow deep before a tree becomes visible above the ground, there are processes taking place within us and around us that we cannot immediately see. Growth is happening in our character, our patience, and our understanding. Circumstances may be aligning in ways that are not yet clear. Faith allows us to believe in this unseen progress. Waiting also exposes the strength of our trust. It is one thing to trust when everything is going well, but it is another to trust when nothing seems to be moving forward. In those moments, faith becomes a decision. It becomes something we actively choose rather than something that comes easily. It is a quiet determination to keep believing even when emotions suggest otherwise. There is also a refining aspect to faith in the waiting season. Challenges, delays, and uncertainties strip away superficial belief and reveal what is genuine. They push us to go deeper, to develop a stronger and more resilient kind of faith. This kind of faith is not easily shaken by circumstances because it is built over time through experience and perseverance. Patience plays a crucial role in this process. Faith and patience often go hand in hand. Patience allows faith to endure, to remain steady over time. Without patience, faith can quickly turn into frustration, but with patience, faith becomes stronger, more grounded, and more consistent. It learns to withstand delays without losing its foundation. One of the most difficult aspects of the waiting season is the feeling of silence. When there are no clear signs, no immediate answers, and no visible progress, it can feel as though nothing is happening. This silence can be uncomfortable, even discouraging, but silence does not mean absence. It does not mean that everything has stopped. Sometimes it simply means that the process is still unfolding in ways that are not yet visible. Trusting during silence requires inner strength. It requires us to hold on to what we believe even when we cannot confirm it with our senses. It requires us to quiet the doubts and focus on the bigger picture. This kind of trust does not come instantly. It is developed over time through repeated choices to believe even when it is difficult. Another challenge during the waiting season is comparison. Seeing others move forward while we remain in the same place can make the wait feel even longer. It can create a sense of being overlooked or left behind, but faith reminds us that every journey is different. Each person has their own timing, their own path, and their own purpose. What is meant for one person at a certain time may not be meant for another in the same way. Faith helps us stay focused on our own journey. It keeps us grounded, reminding us that our path is unfolding as it should. It encourages us to trust that our moment will come, even if it does not align with the timelines of others. This focus helps protect our mindset and keeps us from becoming discouraged. During the waiting season, it is important to remain active in our growth. Faith is not passive. It does not mean doing nothing while we wait. Instead, it means continuing to learn, to improve, and to move forward in whatever ways we can. It means preparing ourselves for what we are believing for even before it arrives. This preparation is an expression of faith. It shows that we truly believe something is coming. It reflects confidence in the future, even when the present is uncertain. By continuing to grow and take small steps forward, we align our actions with our belief. Faith also brings a sense of peace in the midst of uncertainty. It allows us to let go of constant worry about when things will happen. Instead of being consumed by timelines and outcomes, we learn to trust the process. This trust reduces anxiety and helps us remain calm, even when the wait feels long. There are moments when faith may feel weak, when doubt seems stronger than belief. In those moments, it is important to remember that faith does not have to be perfect to be real. Even a small amount of belief can carry us through difficult times. What matters is not the absence of doubt, but the decision to keep believing despite it. Looking back on past experiences can also strengthen faith. There are often moments in life where things worked out in ways we did not expect, where delays eventually made sense, and where outcomes were better than we imagined. Remembering these moments can provide reassurance during current periods of waiting. They remind us that the process, though difficult, can lead to something meaningful. The waiting season is not easy, but it is powerful. It shapes us in ways that quick success cannot. It builds a deeper, more enduring kind of faith, one that is not dependent on circumstances, but rooted in trust. It teaches us to believe beyond what we see and to hold on to hope, even when it feels fragile. Faith proven in the waiting season becomes unshakable. It is no longer based on immediate results, but on a deeper understanding that what is meant to happen will happen in its own time. It is a quiet confidence that remains steady, even in uncertainty. True faith is not about having all the answers or seeing constant progress. It is about trusting when you cannot see, believing when nothing seems to be changing, and holding on when everything around you suggests letting go. And it is in that kind of faith, tested, refined, and proven, that real strength is found. There are moments in life when everything feels still. You may be putting in effort, praying, hoping, and waiting, yet nothing seems to change. Days pass, sometimes even months or years, and it can feel like you are standing in the same place. In those moments, it is easy to believe that nothing is happening. It is easy to feel forgotten, overlooked, or stuck. But just because you cannot see progress does not mean that progress is not being made. There is a deeper reality at work, one that operates beyond what is visible. Even in silence, even in stillness, things are moving. God is working behind the scenes. Much of life happens in ways we cannot immediately see. We tend to focus on visible results, on clear signs of movement, and on outcomes that confirm our efforts are working. But not all progress is visible. Some of the most important developments take place quietly, in ways that are hidden from our view. Just like a seed growing beneath the soil, there is activity happening long before anything appears above the surface. When nothing seems to be changing on the outside, there may be important changes happening on the inside. Growth within us often comes before change around us. Our mindset, our strength, our patience, and our character are all being shaped during these unseen moments. These internal shifts prepare us for what is coming. Without them, we might not be able to handle the opportunities that lie ahead. At the same time, there are external factors being aligned. Life is not only about individual effort, it also involves timing, connections, and circumstances. The right people may need to come into your life. Certain situations may need to unfold. Opportunities may need to develop in ways that cannot be rushed. These elements are often beyond our control, yet they play a crucial role in shaping our path. It is easy to underestimate how many pieces need to come together for something meaningful to happen. What looks like a simple breakthrough may actually involve countless moving parts. Conversations you are not aware of, decisions being made elsewhere, doors opening and closing in different places, all of these contribute to the bigger picture. While you may only see the final result, the process behind it is often complex and carefully arranged. Trusting that something is happening behind the scenes requires patience and faith. It asks us to believe in a process we cannot fully observe. This can be challenging because we naturally want evidence. We want signs that confirm we are moving forward. But growth and alignment do not always provide immediate proof. Sometimes the only thing we have to hold on to is the belief that things are unfolding as they should. There is also a sense of timing that comes into play. Even when everything is being prepared, it may not yet be the right moment for things to come together. Timing affects impact. If something happens too early, it may not have the same effect or may not be sustainable. Waiting allows everything to reach a point where it can come together in the best possible way. Consider how often, in hindsight, things make sense. Moments that once felt confusing or frustrating later reveal a clear purpose. Delays that seemed unnecessary turn out to be essential. Missed opportunities lead to better ones. These realizations remind us that there is more happening than we can see in the present moment. Another important aspect of unseen work is protection. There are times when things are being held back not to frustrate us, but to protect us. What we think we are ready for might not be as beneficial as we imagine at that time. There may be risks, challenges, or outcomes that we are not aware of. By allowing things to unfold gradually, we are guided toward situations that are better suited for us. During periods where nothing seems to be happening, it is important to remain engaged and intentional. Just because results are not visible does not mean we should stop growing. This is a time to continue learning, improving, and preparing. The work we do during these moments contributes to our readiness when opportunities finally appear. Mindset plays a powerful role in how we experience these seasons. If we believe that nothing is happening, we may become discouraged and lose motivation. But if we trust that something is unfolding behind the scenes, it becomes easier to stay patient and hopeful. This shift in perspective can make a significant difference in how we navigate the waiting period. It is also important to let go of the need to control every detail. We often want to know how things will happen and when they will occur, but not everything can be predicted or planned. Some things require trust. Trust that the process is working even when we do not understand it. Letting go of control does not mean giving up. It means allowing space for things to come together naturally. There will be moments when doubt arises, when the silence feels too long and the lack of visible progress feels overwhelming. In those moments, it is helpful to remind yourself that unseen work is still work. Just because it is not visible does not make it any less real. Progress is not always measured by what we can see immediately. Staying consistent during these times is important. Continue to show up, to put in effort, and to move forward in whatever ways you can. Consistency keeps you aligned with your goals and ensures that you are ready when things begin to shift. Even small steps matter, especially when taken regularly. Another helpful approach is to reflect on past experiences. There are likely moments in your life where things came together in ways you did not expect, times when everything seemed uncertain yet eventually worked out. These experiences can serve as reminders that there is often more happening than we realize at the time. The idea that things are being aligned behind the scenes also brings a sense of comfort. It means that you are not alone in the process. It means that there is a larger plan at work, one that considers details you may not even be aware of. This understanding can reduce anxiety and help you remain calm during uncertain periods. When the breakthrough finally comes, it often feels sudden. What seemed like a long period of stillness is followed by rapid change. Opportunities appear, connections form, and progress becomes visible. But what appears sudden is usually the result of all the unseen work that came before it. The alignment, the preparation, and the timing all come together in that moment. Understanding this changes how we view the waiting period. Instead of seeing it as empty or unproductive, we begin to see it as necessary and meaningful. We realize that even in stillness, something important is taking place. We learn to trust that progress is not always immediate, but it is always possible. In the end, believing that things are happening behind the scenes allows us to hold on to hope. It encourages us to remain patient, to stay consistent, and to trust the process. It reminds us that just because we cannot see movement does not mean there is none. There is a deeper level of activity, one that is preparing, aligning, and shaping everything for the right moment. And when that moment arrives, it will not feel random or accidental. It will feel complete, as though everything has come together in exactly the way it was meant to. What once seemed like silence will reveal itself as preparation, and what once felt like stillness will prove to have been a time of quiet, purposeful progress all along. There is a deep comfort in understanding that what is meant for you will arrive at the right time In a world where everything feels rushed and competitive, it is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you are behind, that you have missed your chance, or that others are moving ahead while you remain stuck. But life does not unfold according to comparison or pressure. It unfolds according to timing, timing that is often beyond our understanding, yet always intentional. The idea that your blessing will arrive exactly when you are ready challenges the way we usually think. We often believe we are ready long before we actually are. We feel prepared because we desire something strongly, because we have waited long enough, or because we see others experiencing what we want. But readiness is not only about desire, it is about preparation, growth, and alignment. There are qualities within us that must be developed, lessons that must be learned, and strength that must be built before we can fully receive and sustain what is meant for us. If something comes too early, it may not have the impact it is meant to have. You might not recognize its value, or you might not be equipped to handle it. Timing is what gives meaning to the moment. It ensures that when something arrives, you are able to embrace it fully, understand it deeply, and make the most of it. What comes at the right time does not just add to your life, it transforms it. There are seasons in life where it feels like nothing is happening, where progress seems slow or even non-existent. In those moments, it is easy to feel forgotten or overlooked. You may question whether what you are hoping for will ever come, but those quiet seasons are not empty. They are filled with preparation. They are shaping you in ways you may not yet see, preparing you for what is ahead. Growth often happens in ways that are not immediately visible. Your mindset may be changing, your resilience may be strengthening, and your perspective may be expanding. These internal changes are just as important as external progress. They ensure that when your blessing arrives, you are not the same person you were before. You are someone ready to handle it with wisdom, maturity, and confidence. At the same time, things outside of you are also being aligned. Opportunities do not exist in isolation. They are connected to people, circumstances, and timing. The right opportunity may depend on meeting the right person, being in the right place, or having the right conditions in place. These elements cannot always be controlled or rushed. They come together gradually, forming a moment that is complete and well-timed. It is important to understand that what is meant for you cannot be taken away by delay. If something truly belongs in your life, it will find its way to you. Time does not cancel purpose. Delay does not remove possibility. What is meant for you is not lost just because it has not arrived yet. It is simply on its way, moving according to a timeline that is designed for your good. One of the greatest challenges during this process is comparison. Watching others receive what you are waiting for can create feelings of impatience or self-doubt. It can make you question your own journey and timing. But every person's path is different. What happens for someone else at a certain time is not a reflection of your timing. Your journey is unique, and your blessings are connected to your own path, not someone else's. Trusting that your blessing will arrive at the right time requires patience. It means letting go of the need to control when things happen and focusing instead on how you grow during the waiting period. Patience is not about doing nothing. It is about continuing to move forward with faith, even when the outcome is not yet visible. There is also a sense of peace that comes with trusting the right timing. When you stop trying to force things to happen and begin to trust the process, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. You no longer feel pressured to make everything happen immediately. Instead, you learn to focus on the present moment, on what you can do now, and on how you can continue to grow. Sometimes what we think we want is not exactly what we need. Timing allows for clarity. It gives us space to understand ourselves better, to refine our goals, and to recognize what truly matters. By the time the right opportunity arrives, we are often more aligned with it than we would have been earlier. When your blessing finally comes, it often makes sense in a way that it did not before. You begin to see why things did not happen earlier. You understand the purpose behind the waiting. What once felt like delay reveals itself as preparation. The timing feels right, not rushed, not forced, but natural and complete. There is also a greater sense of appreciation when something arrives at the right time. You value it more because you understand the journey it took to get there. The waiting, the growth, and the patience all add depth to the experience. What might have been taken for granted if it came quickly becomes something meaningful and significant. It is important to stay ready while you wait. Readiness is not something that happens instantly. It is built over time. Continue to learn, to improve, and to develop yourself. Stay open to growth and willing to adapt. The more prepared you are, the more confidently you will be able to step into what is meant for you. Believing that your blessing will arrive at the right time also strengthens your confidence. It reminds you that your life is not defined by missed opportunities or delays. It reassures you that your path is still unfolding, even if it does not always look the way you expected. This belief allows you to move forward with hope rather than fear. There will be moments when waiting feels difficult, when doubt tries to take hold, and when patience feels like a challenge. In those moments, it is important to remind yourself that timing matters. Not everything is meant to happen immediately. Some things are worth waiting for because they come with greater impact when they arrive at the right moment. Your blessing is not random. It is connected to your growth, your journey, and your readiness. It is shaped by experiences that prepare you and by circumstances that align around you. It is not something that can be rushed without losing its value. It comes when everything is in place, when you are ready, when the moment is right, and when it will have the greatest impact on your life. In the end, trusting in the right timing allows you to live with a sense of peace and expectation. You no longer feel anxious about when things will happen. Instead, you hold on to the belief that they will happen when they are meant to. You continue to grow, to move forward, and to prepare, knowing that what is meant for you is already on its way. And when it arrives, it will not feel late. It will feel right.